Hello, it's Thursday and welcome to my last video of 2020. So this was a bit of an unusual year, for most of us, but particularly in the sort of second half of this year, I was churning out a new design every single week and it's left me with a list of 28 patterns, and today we're going to rank them. Put them in the order that I think they belong in. A little bit of business at the front end of this video. A lot of these are available as patterns in my store, and I am trying to actually sell some of the finished items at the moment as well, just to try and buy materials for 2021 so I can keep this party going. The links to all of that stuff is in my description. I don't want to go on about it. It's all in the description. Check it out if you feel like it. And thank you to anyone who has subscribed this year. It's really been a huge motivational factor for me. I never really thought that anybody would respond that positively to the silly things that I do in my free time, and it's meant a lot to me. So thank you for deciding you want to come on this particular journey with me. Other than that, for the last time in 2020, let's get into it. The first group of designs on this checklist tend to sort of predate the channel and the store, really. They're just sort of stuff that happened in the first couple of months of 2020. So number 28 is these sort of three little bears. They predate both my store and my channel, and basically they came about because the power went out for like 24 hours, and seeing as how you have to work blind with fluffy yarn anyway, I was like, what the hell? So number 27 is this sort of weird, lumpy, adorable little cat. I think of her as Pilchard for some reason. Is that from something? This year I worked out that you can do all kinds of things with puff flowers and geometry, and it started off with sort of this little hippo who is not part of the rankings today, but he's very cute and he's an example of what I'm talking about. She is truly one of a kind. Right, so this year I actually made my first ever doll. Now I do prefer creatures, but I had sort of a lot of fun making my Alice doll here. And of course you couldn't have an Alice the Wonderland without a Cheshire cat. The really fun thing about this cat is that I never sort of sewed the head on, so he pops right off. Alright, so number 25 is a pairing. They are Lulu and Cthulhu. So these were actually my first real attempt to create a pattern that had sort of legs all in one piece connected with the body. And it's also my first attempt at making sort of removable clothing on a pattern. And they came in at number 25. Right, number 24 on this list is actually the tractor that I made for my dad for Father's Day. It can't be here for obvious reasons. It was my sort of first real attempt to create a lot of geometric, hard corners and lines, and I definitely need to sort of work on that a little bit more. So number 23 cropped up around Easter time, and similar to the little flower cat I showed you before, there's sort of a bunny version of it made with puff flowers, and sort of the first one's a little bit lumpier. The second one I made had a little bit more of a refined shape to her. I really sort of like this style, and I know it's not for everyone, but it might show up on my channel around Easter time. I might show you guys how to make this little guy. Okay, so with number 22, we're actually finally heading into stuff you guys might recognize, and that is the little Fluttershy that I made. Now I am still working on Rarity. She's kind of my little nightmare right now. So yeah, Fluttershy comes in at number 22. She was just... Right, I really enjoyed making her, and she was a bit of a challenge just because of the fiddly details involved. Like you can see there that we've got sort of like a very specific cutie mark and that sort of thing, but she wasn't particularly significant to my store or to this channel. I didn't really learn a lot making her. So that's why she's sort of ranking so low, even though I really love her. At number 21, we have a collection of little koalas I made. Now these guys here are actually pretty significant. They're the first pattern that I designed specifically for my Etsy store. And what's actually kind of cool about these guys is that you make them all the exact same way. It's just you pose them differently and you get different sort of characters from them. I'm not particularly happy with the quality of them, which might have a lot to do with the yarn that I used. I don't know, if I could do them again, and I might revisit them at some point, I would do a lot different with them. All right, so coming in at number 20, we have this little elephant. Now, I had to go find this guy because I actually have sold a couple of him. And one of these guys is in Austria right now. He's kind of significant for me because I've constructed him entirely in one piece. So the legs and the trunk are all actually constructed in one piece, and all you have to really sew on are the eyes and the ears. And because he's worked all in one piece, you can work up some really interesting sort of stripe patterns. So I've done a few rainbow ones, and that they're what have sort of gone out into the world at this point. Whereas this little blue guy, he kind of stays with me. Number 19 is this little hedgehog. So I used a lot of different textures on him. He's got like this sort of loopy sort of back texture and a fuzzy front texture, which makes him kind of super cute. He was originally designed for a crochet pattern, one of the first that I actually entered this year. It was something on Instagram. I can't remember the specifics. It didn't do particularly well. Still very early stages in this whole journey. So like I try to sort of put myself out there just to see where I can improve a little bit more. All right, so at number 18, I've got something that you will definitely recognize. We have the little sock puppet, the stocking dog, one of the Christmas designs from just a couple of weeks ago. He features so low on this list just because I think I went a little too concept with this little guy, and I don't know if the finished design is necessarily as nice as I would like it to be. What I actually think I want to do is I want to revisit sort of this part of it and maybe make him a head. If I could go back and make a new head for him, I think that I might actually have a really decent sort of puppy pattern in there instead of a very strange ornament that I think confused people a little bit. All right, so at number 17, I have the Stegosauruses. I love these little chonks, I do. I created so many things this year. We've kind of reached a point where like the top 17, I love every single one of them. It's just when, I mean, there are nearly 30 patterns in this ranking. It came down to like really fine details as to sort of what got ranked where. So with the Stegosauruses, I really, really loved them, but the pattern, reading it, even for me, and I wrote it, it's like doing algebra homework, and I like algebra, but that's not for everyone. But I wish that it could have been potentially made a little bit clearer. Like I'm actually at the point where if anybody purchases this pattern, I try to warn them. This guy is at challenge level. Okay, at number 16, I have a couple of little ladybugs. It comes in a sort of closed form, like a more traditional ladybug. What I really wanted to try and do with this pattern is actually, I'd never seen anybody create one where like the wings were visible or able to open. And I really wanted to see if it was possible, if it could translate. And so we've got sort of a version with open wings that you can sort of hang up and have fly a little bit. And so like that was kind of the real challenge for me with this piece. And that's kind of why I've ranked it above some of the other pieces, even though this one here also wasn't particularly popular. It's that I really liked this, and I kind of learned a lot about assembly and construction from trying to create this particular pattern. Okay, so at number 15, we have the reindeer. That's sort of the finished pattern that sort of ended up getting published. But my favorite is actually one of the earlier ones that I did that I didn't end up using for the pattern. And that is the one with sort of the longer legs and the more pronounced toe. I really liked these guys. I really wanted to try and do something that had sort of like the grace of the Christmas card reindeer, because normally I do kind of fat, chubby things, which are cute. But yeah, these guys graced my Christmas tree, and they made great decorations, and they'll be back next year. They're just very jolly, you know? At number 14, I have one of the early patterns that I created for my store. I made a lot of insects to start with just because they're so interesting, and they already are sort of broken down into pieces for you, which made them kind of really easy to work out how to approach. But I made a bunch of these dragonflies, and I'm really, really proud of how the wings turned out. I think I kind of nailed it here, guys. I'm less fond of sort of the derpy faces and the body shape, but like that's why they're only at number 14. That is definitely one of my top patterns of 2020. Okay, so at number 13, ironically enough, we have the monster pumpkins. One of the first videos I did on my channel was me trying to work out how to make these. For a while I'd been wanting to try and make sort of these recessed faces with a little bit more of a sculptural element to it. Like it's so easy just to sort of stick on eyes or sew on a mouth, but I wanted to see if there was like something there, and like could a little bit more sculpture be used for these sorts of things. And I'm really happy with how they turned out. And they make really great Halloween decorations, and they're just sort of, they've got a lot of character to them, and they sit on my shelf and they judge me. So they are number 13. So at number 12, we've got the little dove. So she was the last pattern that I published on my channel this year. She's ranked fairly low. I think she's really pretty. I actually ended up making a whole bunch of these and just sort of sneaking them onto my friends and family's Christmas trees. I hope they enjoy discovering those when they go to pack them away. And confusion. This is the confusion of the best pranks, right? Why scare someone or humiliate someone when you can just confuse the shit out of them? Yeah, so Little Dove comes in at number 12. She was a revelation. She's the first time I've tried to do wings. So with the dragonfly and some of the other insects you'll see on here, they've got wire frames in them, but she was my first attempt at trying something else. Now, I've since been recommended to try sugar starch or actual starch, but the hairspray method has not discolored this little bird yet. I'll be keeping a close eye on her, and she'll be coming back out of storage next year for next Christmas, and I will let you guys all know sort of how that turns out. But right now, I sprayed her 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she's still white. So number 12. And at number 11, I've got another little bird. So at number 11, I have the little owl, which was the last pattern in my Halloween series. So He's significant for me because of the feathered pattern and the fact that it was actually stitched in as we went and not just sort of attached on afterwards and not sewn on, which are previously ways I've done that. So it's really cool to have sort of added that as a potential tool in my arsenal and how to get those feathers to sit flat and how to stitch them in all in one go. It makes him work up really, really quickly too, which I always kind of look for in my projects. All right, so we're into the top 10 now. So at number 10, we have my praying mantis. I loved designing this little guy. So he predates this channel by a fair margin. He's one of the first patterns that I made. You can tell because he's an insect. But what was really cool for me about learning this guy is I was really having to focus on very specific sculptural elements. So particularly around the construction of this head and these two eyes. But what's really cool about this guy's head is that he's actually sort of created, the head itself is two different pieces. I'd never sort of tried to do it that way before, and it was a lot of fun trying to hide that seam so that you couldn't really necessarily tell at first glance that it had been made in multiple pieces. And I also think that these arms, the bends in them and just like the ridges in them and the little frondie bits, it turned out exactly how I wanted, and that is why Praying Mantis cracks the top 10. Right, number 9 is my platypus pattern, which was originally published under Platycornicus. I don't actually have the platypus anymore. It's gone off to a new home. I still have my two little gremlins here. They are still just as opinionated as ever. And I just had so much fun with the original sort of concept design for these guys. I know that it was a bit of a reach and that not super accessible, but just the idea of making a monster monetary made out of candy and the fact that those words came out of the hats when they did, I had so much fun with this whole element. And I was also really, really pleased with sort of how that little beak, is that on camera? There we go. Really, really pleased with the sort of the shaping of the beak and how that all turned out, just how I wanted it. I always get really excited when things turn out exactly how I see them in my head. So at number 9, we have my platypus officially, but unofficially the Platycornicus pattern. Okay, at number 8, we have another Christmas pattern. So we have the little mouse and his cookie. Now the fuzzy version again has gone off to its new home, but I really enjoyed this little guy, and he's actually the very, very first time, this item I'm holding in my hand, not this pattern, the very first time I'd even attempted to use short rows as a sculpting technique. And now I leaned on it fairly heavily in my Christmas patterns, but this is the first time I even tested it to see if it was a concept I would be able to use. And he came out just so perfectly curved that it's hard not to it's always really exciting to me when a new technique works out. So yeah, little mouse is coming in at number 8. Okay, number 7, I have a couple of spiders here. So the pumpkin spider was the official pattern released on the channel, though you can also make the candy spider using the same thing. The mustache is included in that video. I don't know if you guys get this, but some objects just feel really, really good to pick up and hold in your hand, and this spider just happens to be one of them. I'm not particularly afraid of spiders, but I also, I've never really wanted one as a pet. They're okay. We can be roommates. But there's something I like to pick her up. And I was also really pleased with how my first sort of attempt at a real color blocking design had kind of turned out. Yeah, it's just a really nice object to hold in my hands. I just gave her an edge over the mouse, and that's why she's coming in at number 7. So at number 6, we have a pattern that I almost didn't include in this ranking. I did technically start write the base horse pattern years ago, but I did decide to include the Skullicorn just because she did need to be reimagined. I did have to repattern the mane and the tail, and I did have to repattern the skull mask piece and the horn. I just think that she has such a nice general appeal to her that it would be doing her a disservice to rank her any lower. So at number 6, we have the Skullicorn. Okay, so at number 5, we have something that is of pretty real significance. This little frog is the very first thing that I designed on this channel, and that video is the very first upload that I did. It was the very start of Complicated Knots. I was still trying to work out everything. I'm still trying to work out everything, but I was really trying to work out everything then. If you happen to watch that video, I am literally designing this guy as I'm filming it. I'm going to be doing more of those videos in future. I've kind of sort of descended into just pre-patterning and then releasing patterns on here. So I do want to do more designing like this little guy on my channel, and He comes in at number 5 because of just how significant he's been to my overall journey in 2020. He was the pattern that launched the channel. Coming in at number 4 is another one of the Christmas patterns. Now there's only one left, and that is the Present. I just have loved this year designing creatures inside of other things. I think it presents such an interesting challenge because you can't just get away with making a potato and sticking some features on it. So yeah, the Present is a great example of that. And I actually really like the fact that it is a functional gift box. I'm kind of a little bit sad that I didn't play with the gag a little bit more and like make the lid so that it like go close and then reopen and have the little cat pop out. I might play with that in future. It's got all of the raw materials there. I could use the exact same pattern. I would just need to possibly stuff it a little less. If anybody wants to give it a go and let me know down in the comments if that works or not, I'd be really grateful. That'd be great. But yeah, so at number 4 we have the Presents. Okay, coming in at number 3, I am back to one of my original insects, and it is the I think they're called like poodle moths or lunar moth. No, it is the rosy maple moth. Though of course you can also make poodle moths or lunar moths with this pattern. I gotta tell you, the whole time I was making this, I happened to be visiting my parents at the time. My mother was like, oh, make it into a sheep. Make it into a sheep. It looks so much more like a little sheep. It's a moth. So general appeal gets this bug right up there. Now, as beautiful as the rosy maple coloration and design and pattern in general turned out, she also has a little lunar brother who came out a little bit chunkier. They are together coming in at number 3. I've got 2 patterns left for the year. Coming in at 2nd place, I have Spookitty. So Spookitty is actually the first like free pattern I released on my channel. She's the first sort of tutorial I tried to do. So yeah, Spookitty comes in at number 2. Just for like really kickstarting the channel, just giving it that burst. For her, I was really excited. It's like I was saying with the Present. I've become fascinated with the idea of designing things inside of other things. Obviously, I played with reality a little bit there, but that's sort of how Spookitty came to be. I gotta tell you, she's my favorite personally, just because of you guys and the versions that you've made and that you've seen. Somebody made a zombie version, which is incredible. Somebody else made this black version that looks like permanently affronted. It's just insulted you would even dare be in its presence, and I love it so much. It's the best thing. So this is it. In the top ranking of all of my patterns that I created this year is the Bumblebee. He's by far the pattern I've sold the most of. But also there's a video on my channel here where I thought I want a bigger one. And I ended up making not just a large version of him, which is just made with a double strand using the exact same pattern, by the way. So instead of just crocheting with 1 strand, you crochet with 2. I not only did I end up making a bigger one, but I ended up making a pillow-sized one. Again, same pattern, just with 4 strands, not 1. I ended up making this really, really big one, which is still just, it has to be one of my favorite things I've ever created. And like, I'm sitting here on a bed with a rainbow llama. So yeah, the Bumblebee, let's get the original back in. So this is actually the original Bumblebee that I made. I've made a few of them and they've gone off to all different corners of the world. He rightfully takes the number 1 ranking for 2020 of, I don't know what to call it, my favorite patterns, just a general ranking of the designs that I did. He is number 1. So that is it for my 2020 designs. There are 28 in total, which seems like such a huge number. I don't think I've ever done so much crochet in 1 year, just pure creation wise. So there are 28 in total, and next year I'm gonna beat it. I'll be back next week with a brand new pattern, and I need to go work on it now. So, okay, bye.